Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Run It Back. Man, it's been a while. I'm not going to lie to you, ladies and gents out there. Y'all missed the episode. There's a lost episode out there. The episode of the Zodiac. We did it. It's lost. Basically, that episode, coupled with two others, forced us to retool and revamp the whole recording process of the Bros Who Think Network. But I must say, I like the new way. It's fire, and I'm in for it. But we're not doing Zodiac. We're not going to do Zodiac for a while. Y'all will probably forget about this, and Zodiac will probably happen in like a year from now, maybe 2 years. Who knows? I'm not looking to doing it. We're gonna wait. Let it feel. We got to let it feel fresh again. So today, funny enough, I was telling Ian Schubert before we got started that on my letterbox, you know, the favorites, Zodiac was one of them, but this movie turned out to be one of them as well. And I didn't mean to do that. Today we're reviewing none other than Denzel Washington's classic Training Day. Super excited. I'm gonna introduce Ian first. Ian Hawley, how are you doing, sir? Glad to be back chatting movies with you. It's been a while.
It has been a while, man. It's been a long time, but we're back. I really enjoyed this movie for the first watch through.
Hey, that's something we haven't heard in a while on this show.
Why? That's true. I usually come in here as the negative Nelly, but I sent it in the group chat we have right after I finished watching. I was like, man, that was a good ass movie. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to be here talking about this movie. I can see now why you think it's one of Denzel's best. He was great in this movie. I thought who's Ethan Hawke?
He doesn't get enough love for this movie, but he was great too. Like this movie doesn't. This movie, too, like Denzel makes this movie an Oscar movie, but like Ethan Hawke is, if he doesn't do just as well, this movie's not as good. Those two people really elevate this movie, and we'll get into that. But glad to see you, Ian. Schubert, how are you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well, man. You know, it stinks that we didn't get Zodiac out, but I mean, this movie is right on top there. Well, I'm just saying, like, this movie is just right on top there for like movies that we've done on this Run It Back series that are just hard to poke holes in.
This one's going to get a high rating. I'm just letting y'all know now. This one will get a high rating. And I promise you, listeners, after this, I told the boys, we're going comedy, we're going horror. We're going to switch it up. We might even do an animated movie. We're going to do some non-normal Run It Back style movies. But before we went on that break, we had to do it with one of the ultimate. Like, see, when I think of the Run It Back Pantheon, when I thought of doing this show, this was one of the movies that I always thought would be in our Run It Back Pantheon of great movies. So I'm finally excited to talk to you about it. And I think we got to start with just Denzel Washington. My God. What an, like, out of all the movies we've watched an Al Pacino, we've watched a De Niro, I don't think we've done a Leo yet, but we've done De Niro, we've done Pacino, and we've seen a lot of like other character actors. But man, to have this movie it works because of him. This movie goes as far as he takes it. And with anyone else, this movie is like a B movie with like, damn, Ethan Hawke is good. But like, this is like a B tier action movie. With him, it's something different, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
I was excited to learn finally where those couple of memes came from that come out of this movie. I
just realized this on this rewatch. Overall. The B Rabbit got the gun. I couldn't think of what rap song I was from when I heard it this time, but I was like, oh shit, it's from Training Day. Wow. Didn't know that.
You know, I think, you know, the LA influences, the hip hop influences, you know, having Snoop and Dr. Dre in this.
We're going to talk about that.
The start of Terry Cruz's career. Just the people behind this movie. Doesn't say a word.
He's just standing there, buff, doesn't say a word. And just so you see, okay, I'm gonna be honest. This rewatch, it took me out the movie. I'm gonna be completely real. seeing him took me out the movie because I'm like, he's not like this. He is a soft-toned man who hosts America's Got Talent. He should not be in this movie. It took me out in this rewatch. I cannot lie. But man, Denzel wins an Oscar for this. This is arguably his best movie. I won't say it's his best. I'll still say Malcolm X is his best because he plays like 3 different characters in one. But it's hard to say this one. There's some like so many quotables in this movie, and it's me and Schubert did our top 50 actors, and this is why I had him number 1. Like this is one of the main reasons why, and it's a tour de force performance. Ian, for the first time you seeing this, what did you think?
I thought it was great, man. I knew it was going to be a solid movie. I had heard nothing but good things about this movie from everybody that I talked to about it, saying, you know, our next movie that we're reviewing is going to be Training Day. Everybody was like, oh man, you're going to love that movie. But even still, I was blown away by it. You know, just sound, story-wise, no plot holes that I could see on the first watch. There was nothing that took me out of the movie. Besides seeing the back of Terry Crews' bald head when he was flipping pigeons and being like, hey, holy shit, that's Terry Crews. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. It's definitely one that I'm going to go back and watch many times over in the future.
Shuby, does this make just this rewatch? Are you going to end up putting Denzel higher? Because I feel like you had him 5th. I feel like it was disrespectful. I'm being real. I think he had him 5th.
He's in the top 5.
Where'd you have him?
I don't remember, but it kind of sounds nearly right.
See,
but I mean, like it's because like when I think of Denzel, like I've never seen Malcolm X, so like that's more so what would probably be the driving force for me. Because I mean, like when I was making that ranking, like I knew that Training Day was up there, but I'm saying like, but the one thing that you could say about Denzel that makes him better than other actors is, you know, he can play the character he plays in like Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, and then like this character, and they're 2 vastly different people, and you believe both of them. You know what I'm saying? So like he can play like the scumbag really well, and he can play the hero real well, or he can, you know, in this case he kind of toes the line of like for half the movie you're thinking like, okay, well, you know, this is like she's trying to mentor him, blah blah blah, and then you kind of realize that he is the villain.
Yeah, it takes a while for you to realize he's the villain, but once you do, you're like, wow. And then everything else is like, wow. It's there's kind of a Usual Suspects-ish situation in the sense of, no, just in this sense of like, wow, you planned this to Jake the whole time. Like you made him take all these drugs. Like you planned this for weeks. Like this all went because you set this up. That's kind of when you get to the end, it's like, wow, that's the only Usual Suspects-esque thing that I'm talking about. But besides that,
yeah.
No, great movie. And just to add to like a little bit, like, I mean, Denzel, this was probably the first movie where people got to see him as a villain. I'm trying to go down his IMDb credits, but I'm pretty sure at this point from his career, he was a good guy. And I think this film was huge for him because it showed a different side of him. It showed how he could go super dark. Like Pelican Brief, he's a good dude. Ricochet, he's a good dude. Philadelphia, he's not a bad guy in Philadelphia. And Malcolm X, he's Malcolm X. And I mean, Mo Better Blues, he's a player, but like I don't consider infidelity making you like a bad guy. It's just like you're just cheating your dog. So he wasn't. But this he was a bad guy. Like he was fucked up in this movie. Any other initial thoughts? Because I want to give Ethan Hawke props too. Because like Ethan Hawke did a damn good job. This
he
rewatch,
was nominated for an Oscar for this.
He should have won. He should have won. And I'm gonna look up to see who he was nominated against. But what Ethan Hawke did in this film, like I said, I'm not gonna say that this film works without Denzel because it doesn't. But I would say this film has a hard time working without Ethan Hawke too. Like Denzel can carry it, but like that number 2 is just important.
He was up against Ben Kingsley for the movie Sexy Beast, Ian McKellen for Lord of the Rings 1, John Voight for Ali, and the winner was Jim Broadbent for a movie called Iris. Oh,
bro, I'm gonna be honest. You could take who was it for Ali? Christopher Walken?
John Voight.
John Voight. Look, bro, I thought it was Christopher Walken. That tells you how much a memorable performance that was. I know Ethan Hawke. This movie told me who Ethan Hawke was, and after seeing this movie as a child, I went to go watch all the other Ethan Hawke movies. Dude's a beast. He killed it in this. And he should have been over Ben Kingsley's ass, too. And I'll take him over Ian McKellen in The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Should have won.
Am I the only one who thinks that Ethan Hawke looks strikingly like Kevin Dillon from Entourage? The guy who plays Johnny Drama.
Kind of.
At first, I was like, "Is that Johnny Drama?" No, not Johnny Drama. I had to pause the movie.
You want to know
look
something funny? I think like a Pokemon tree family would be Johnny Drama as like the Charmander first, Ethan Hawke is Charmeleon, and Kevin Bacon is Charizard. I feel like all three of those men look alike, and they're the fusions into each other. Ian feels me. I think Ian's rocking with this. Schubert not so much. Absolutely, but it's okay.
Well, what's kind of interesting when it comes to Ethan Hawke is, and we've talked about Bros Revenge a lot with like, you know, the Keanu Science and Nick Cage Science. There's about to be an Ethan Hawke Science. He's got 2 movies coming out, one on Netflix.
He's in Moon Knight too.
And he's in Moon Knight. So, you know, he's about to come back on the scene. We're about to see how good of an actor.
And
Ethan
he just
Hawke
had
is.
that, but the show started it off. The Showtime show he just had where he was like the abolitionist killing slave masters.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of the name of it, but it's on Showtime. It's a good show too. So shout out to Ethan Hawke. But the way this show works is we do background. We gave our initial thoughts, and then we're going to go through. Okay, so I'm tweaking it because when we go through best scenes, we say the whole movie. So we're going to review the movie scene by scene, but we have to choose an overall best scene. Shout out to Lil Reg. Me and him talk. He talked to me. He's like, bro, y'all gotta tell us the best scene. So we're going to tell you the best scene, and then we're going to give the winners, losers, 6-man of the movie. And that type of stuff. I'm just letting y'all know up top. If y'all give Dr. Dre 6-man of the movie, I might kick y'all off the podcast. Can we talk? We can talk about Dr. Dre's acting skills right now if you want. Like Snoop killed it. Snoop was superb. Dr. Dre,
but he always
Dr. Dre was doing too much, bro.
Yeah, I agree. Dr. Dre's performance was. It wasn't that it wasn't believable. It was just kind of over the top. You know, like he was trying way too hard to run with the big dogs. And
shut up.
Yeah, you're not going to do shit. Denzel's got you on a tight leash.
And I got to say, Macy Gray did way better than Dr. Dre, too. Macy Gray, I know Schubert doesn't know who Macy Gray is, but Ian, I'm assuming you know who Macy Gray is. She did a good job, too, as like the lady in the who got robbed. But we'll get to all of that. And I have quotes throughout that like I just thought were phenomenal. But real quick, just background. Training Day is a 2001 American crime thriller film directed by Antoine Fuqua. Funny enough, we didn't talk about him. He did The Equalizer, but this is kind of his best movie. And like I wish I could see more from Antoine Fuqua. Anytime I see something, I always check it out.
Coming out, man.
He's a good action director. He is, but like you would think after doing this, he would instantly become like one of those names. Like Ryan Coogler is one of those names, but like Antoine Fuqua is a legend, but he's not like when you think of the Tarantino. I don't even want to say that. I want to say like the best action directors, like the John McTiernans, the Michael Bays. Like Fuqua's up there, but he's not up there. But I wish he was. And it was also written by Schubert, our guy, David Ayer. Yo, David Ayer. Shout out to him. You can kind of tell
David Ayer loves his cop LA movies.
Yeah, I was about to say, you can definitely tell this is a David Ayer movie. Go watch End of Watch, which maybe we may do on this pod because it is great. So shout out to David Ayer. This movie stars Denzel Washington as Alonzo Harris, Ethan Hawke is Jake Hoyt, 2 LAPD narcotics officers over a 24-hour period in the gang-ridden neighborhoods of Westlake, Echo Park, and South Central LA. Now, real quick, and I know just to stop here because I think this is important, the 24-hour period. So when I first watched this, I was like, wait, no way this takes place in 24 hours. Jake must have been really high in this movie because I'm guessing when they go to Alonzo's house, that's lunch. That has to be lunch, huh?
I think it's late lunch.
I would say even earlier in the day. I mean, you got to think a cop starts around 7, 8 a.m. So I'm assuming they were at that diner at like
6:45, like 6:45, 7.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, so that might even be like 9:30. I'd say 10 at the latest.
Okay, so when do you think the Wiseman meeting was? Was that lunch?
3 or 4.
See, yeah, that's later in the day. They show like the sun is kind of, it's not on its way down necessarily, but the sky's turning a little bit more orange than it was for the rest
Because you got to
of
think
the
he
movie.
sleeps at Alonzo's house, and then when they wake up, they go to that had to be lunch. Like like you're saying, Ian, it goes into 3 o'clock. It goes into 3-4 o'clock late lunch with the wise men. But the 24-hour thing, it was something I was like, is it 24 hours? It could have been 2 days. But so it takes place in all of those LA gangs. Funny enough, funny story. They also Antoine Fuqua did get permission from a lot of the gang members. Snoop helped, Dr. Dre helped, and then they had people on site that was in the movie that were in these particular gangs, the Latino gang, the Crips, the Bloods. We saw all 3 of those. So the gang was there, and they made some money off of this. So shout out to them. It also features Scott Glenn, Cliff Curtis, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Macy Gray. Training Day was released on October 5th, 2001 by Warner Brothers. It received positive reviews from critics who praised Washington and Hawk's performance, but were divided on the screenplay. Yeah, it's not the best of screenplays. I mean, it's a solid cop movie that I would say the acting takes to the next level, but it was a commercial success, grossing $104 million worldwide against a production budget of $45 million. The film received numerous accolades and nominations, with Washington earning Best Actor at the Academy Awards, and Ethan Hawke being nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Should have got it, but shout out to Denzel. Great movie. Like I said, we love this movie, and we can just dive right into it. And I'll start off. We'll just go through the timeline. We'll discuss the timeline. We can give our thoughts. And then if you have something to add, if I forgot something on the timeline, then we'll give the best scene. But the beginning, I wrote down Jake saying you should see the division commanders' houses, when in actuality, when he doesn't realize he's against all the shit you need to do to be a division commander. I thought that was interesting in this watch. You wouldn't catch it your first time, but the second time through, just him talking to his wife about what he wants out of the job and saying he's jealous of the division commanders because of, like, you need to see their houses. It's like, bro, do you have what it takes to be a division commander? Like, you don't know what you're about to go through to, like, if you want to be that.
See, but is that really a necessity, or is it what Denzel Valentine?
Look at you, you're Michigan State love.
Yeah, I know, it's bleeding through here. Is that what Denzel Washington is trying to persuade him to think? I mean, a lot of this movie is him being inexperienced and not really having an idea of what it does take to get to the next level. So he's putting his faith in Alonzo to try and take him there. So a lot of that stuff you could argue is not, it's just what Alonzo needs him to do for the job, or Alonzo's twisted vision of the department and what it means to really be a true police officer, a true narcotics detective. So I don't necessarily know if, all the division commanders had to go through those same, shady years to get to the top.
Well, we know that other detective is
the LAPD is corrupt,
one of those wise men.
One of the worst.
That's what I'm saying. Like, from the meeting with the wise man, you kind of realize that, like, there is a deep underbelly of corruption. With, like, there's like a lot of fucked up shit. And I'm assuming, and we'll talk about Roger, but Roger had to be a former cop who was like, I know Denzel tells Jake that, he was selling drugs to kids. He might have been, but, like, I always got the vibe that Roger was a former cop. Like, I thought, because he said you were like this when you started, I felt like Denzel worked under Roger and was like, Roger was former Denzel.
Potentially, yeah, that would make sense. I mean, sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, like, first watch, that was the vibe that I got, is that he was like his former, what do you call it? Overseeing officer.
Section commander?
The guy who traded him, like something like that. And, like, he always gave the vibe that he was, like, sort of tapped into the neighborhood, knowing about his football past. I was like, I feel like that's something like
that sketched me out. I was like, how did you just see this guy this one time? It was like strong safety. Like, bro, if someone would have told me some shit, like, saw me walk in like ESA power forward, I'd be like, huh?
He asked like what his last name was.
I know all the good players. I know what he said, but, like, that's still fucking random. He was like, I know all the good players.
Yeah, from like how many decades ago now was this guy in high school?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's been a while. But see,
and they really never reference his football career again. So it's just kind of one of those odd things. Like either Roger is just some crazy mind who like memorizes everything that he reads, or he's not as innocent and on the sidelines as he seems.
Yeah. So either way, that's why I wrote down
moment
that
with every moment you have with him, he seems to like know the inner workings of like what's going on. Like he seems
cops,
to know. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think
to not have been.
That's
involved.
why I think it's crazy when you hear Jake say that.
Didn't they even mention that they wanted his pension?
They did. They did mention they wanted. They did.
Yeah.
He was like, "Are those vampires after my pension now?" And they were like, "Nah, we just here to do this." No, yeah, Roger was definitely a cop for sure, 100%. So yeah, that shows like these division commanders, they wilding out here. But it might not be the whole department, but just the department Ethan Hawke's around. It's pretty wild. The fact that they're buying warrants, but we'll get to that. The next thing I wrote down was, because I didn't care about any of the other stuff with Ethan Hawke and his wife. It was just like, whatever. Next thing I wrote down was the diner scene. When he goes to the diner, may I read my paper? Can I get something to eat? Nah, you fucked up. You fucked that up. You can't get nothing to eat. Now let me read my paper. Interrupts. Oh, wait. Okay, since I can't read my paper, now you tell me a story since I can't read my paper, dickhead. Just thought all of that by Denzel was fucking amazing.
Well, and he kind of gave you like
absolutely.
his initial vibe of like, okay, so he's supposed to be, he's hazing him pretty much. He's like, he's going to haze this kid. It's the new rookie, the trainee. He's at that point, you kind of feel like he, respects him in a sense, just as a overseer and like, rookie kind of situation, or it's like, oh, okay, he's busting his balls like any other police officer would to the rookie.
Yeah,
so like
definitely. Even more so when he goes into that story, when he's telling the story about the DUI, and he's like, "You gotta have smashed," and he's like, "Huh? No, I got a wife," and he's like, "You got a wife? You got a dick? You got a dick, don't you?" And I was just like, "Oh shit, this is hilarious."
And then he just goes right into you got two legs on either side that line up with him. In those legs are two pockets. Reach into one of them. Pay the bill.
He had to pay the bill.
Moving right on to the next.
He didn't even get to eat.
I don't give a shit about your stories. Yeah, exactly. I don't give a shit about you. Pay my bill, motherfucker. This is training day.
What a great way to start this movie. Now, the next thing I wrote down after that is the training day begins. They make the first bust where it's Jake's like, all right, I'm seeing this narcotics. They're having good conversation in the car, but this is kind of like where the first big thing is. They make the bust, and then after the bust, well, Jake has to smoke PCP, Sherm, Angel Dust. Lit. You wet, Jake. Jake takes a hit, bro. But even before that, I skipped some stuff of Jake refusing the initial refuser, Denzel taking out the gun saying, see, what if you were undercover and you refuse? Bow, you're dead, boom. And he's like, you need to do this because all undercover does this. If not, you can get out of my car and go back to wherever you want to go. And then he does it, and I'm just laughing the whole time. Then he's taking a hit. Denzel's
stopped in the middle of the intersection or whatever.
Smoke
Stuck
that
in the middle
shit.
of the intersection. That dude honks the horn and he's like, shut up. Stop.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Hit toke that shit, Jake. He's like, nah, man, that's all you. You hit that. Finish that. Don't be no bitch. I was just like, bro, Denzel is wild and he's on 10. But it's believable at every step of the drop. Thought that was a great scene.
I was like, what are these guys, these like college guys doing in a VW Beetle? In a
VW Beetle in the Latino gang of LA. Like, what are y'all doing right now? You're trying to get robbed.
Exactly. You're just that's like a shining star to anybody wishing to come fuck you guys up. Like, oh, those guys in the Beetle? Like, which Beetle? Well, there's only one here within 10 blocks. Is those fucking white idiots in the Beetle.
And they had a crack pipe in the car.
Just asking to get taken advantage
of. So was that, do we think they were smoking crack, or do we think they just bought a crack-ish looking piece and that's what they were smoking with?
No, they were probably smoking crack.
Yeah.
Especially since they bought PCP laced weed. They probably were smoking crack.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you were saying, like, why would they go into that neighborhood to get crack? if they wanted to go get weed.
Yeah, they probably could have stayed on campus for that one. Well, and like, I mean, I understand he's a rookie narcotics officer, but you're telling me he doesn't know the difference between like regular weed and like some weed with some other stuff in it? Like, especially living in LA, like, come on.
And he said he smoked in high school.
Yeah, I was about to say, he said he smoked in high school. Like, dude, look at it, inspect it. You should have been like, nah, I don't want to smoke that. Or I'm going to say he was pressured to where he ain't look at it. It was just, I'm going to hit this because my boss is telling me to hit this. So it was
with
like,
a gun to my head.
Yeah, with a gun to my exactly, or get out the car and go back to working. And you got to think he was already nervous because he wanted to make this to get to detective. So I'm gonna give him a pass on that, Ian. But that was definitely an "Are we sure?" for sure. All right,
and
so
even at that point, when he smokes the PCP and like Denzel, and they're driving around, and Denzel's just like messing with him about it. Still at that point, you're thinking to yourself, well, I mean, like he's probably just like fucking with him, like. I don't really think it's like anything nefarious right now. And he's just like, yeah, this dude's first day. I'm just gonna like get him super fucked up. Just fuck with him.
I'm gonna tell you when I think it's nefarious. It's not nefarious yet, but it's like, damn, bro, you just made me. And you sit here listing off all these terms of you wet, PCP, angel dust, shroom stick. He lists like 10 things. I'm like, bro, don't clown around with me like that, bro. Like, you just made me smoke this shit. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, now he's trying to give him a heart attack. Like, oh,
and
shit.
then making him drink, too. Well, that's coming up.
Yeah.
Like, he's...
Have a beer. It'll give you balance.
Yeah, it'll give you balance. Yeah. This movie's fucking crazy. So, all right. So after that, I say they go to Roger's house and we meet Roger for the first time in that scene where strong safety, North Hollywood, fucking weirdo. But Roger the cop, like that scene. I will say I liked Scott Glenn in this. Like Scott Glenn, I don't know if y'all have seen
Old Stick from
He's Stick in Daredevil. He's also in Silence of the Lambs. He's the lead detective. Yep.
Jack Crawford.
Well, and in this scene, he tells him the joke of the snail that's on the front porch. The guy throws the snail over the roof. It hits a rock when it lands and breaks its shell. And eventually, it heals up and then makes its way back to the front porch. And the guy says, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And, Jake at the time laughs because he's high on PCP. And he's, oh, that's not funny. But then Roger says, if you figure that out, you figured out the streets. Did you guys figure that one out?
I didn't figure that shit out, and I didn't figure out the cries and smiles. You gotta limit your cries and limit your smiles, and you'll have good days.
I did think it was interesting that later in the movie, when they come back to Roger's house, they come in through the back door.
True.
I thought maybe there was some tie-in there. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna
have to read that. That's something I'm gonna have to check for the next rewatch because I did pay attention to that joke this time, but I didn't get what the fuck they're talking about. I was just
I guess we don't know much about the streets. If that's the case.
I do not know much about the streets, but I mean, I'm not listening to the guy who knows football players from all across California. Like, sorry, you pedo. Like, that's what I'm insinuating.
See, that's the guy you want to pay attention
that Roger is
to.
a fucking pedo.
You think he's keeping tabs on the young boys in high school?
It's fucking weird, man.
See, that's why you got to pay attention, Lynn. You're going to fuck around and find yourself in a bad spot because you didn't have your eyes open.
True. Good thing I saw the signs.
With the snail story, I feel like, now that I'm thinking about it now, and you don't think about it at the time, but it probably does. It's probably supposed to symbolize how the movie ends up going, if you really think about it. And like, you have to really analyze that story and then like think about the overall movie as a whole, probably. And you could probably like just thinking about the way movies and tropes go. You'd have to think that that's probably something that I'm thinking like,
I see where you're going with this.
Comes back or whatever, and like, and then they do end up coming back to him. So I'm just like trying to piece that together. I'll probably piece that out after we're done.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna check that
I
out
see
on
where you're going with that.
on the next rewatch after. But all right, so after that, after they go to Roger's house. Oh, Jake stops the raid. This is like one of the most important scenes of the movie.
Yeah, it was a pretty.
Yeah, he just kind of catches it out of the corner of his eye. You're not really, you as the viewer see it, but he's almost just not even paying attention because he's still, stoned.
You don't know if he's really seeing what he's seeing either.
And
Sure.
yeah, exactly. And he makes the split decision to get out of the car and go stop those guys from raping that girl, and it ends up coming back up later in the movie.
only true
But
case
at
of
the
police
time-
work in this whole movie is rewarded. Isn't that
Yeah, the only thing that's actually admissible in court, at least.
the only thing that's like heroic too?
But-
is rewarded.
And they don't do anything about it. It's Denzel.
Yeah, they let him go.
Yeah, like
They-
Jake. Jake does everything he's supposed to do, but then Denzel's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah,
He
That was cool
jacks
that you
their
fought him
money. He
Jacks
takes
their
their
money.
money. It's like, get out of here, you fucks! After you kick their ass, like,
that's. I think that's one
Takes
of
their
the first
drugs, too.
times that you hear him say, "Do you want to go to jail or do you want to go home?"
yeah, that is one of the first times. Along with boom, every fucking like chance Jake is nodding off. But solid scene. Jake put those dudes in a headlock and he whipped both those crackheads' ass. So good for him,
I don't believe that girl was anywhere close to 14 when they filmed that movie.
No, how do you think she was? What do you think? She was like 16, 18?
At least 21.
She might have been, who knows? But she might have been like, I'm going to guess 19. Because actor age, they probably made her to play younger. But she didn't look like no middle schooler. I'll say that.
No, she
Well,
did
I mean,
not.
if they can
but
have-
14, you're a freshman in high school at the most.
I mean, if they can have Hannah Montana's older brother in that show be playing a 16-year-old and be like 38, then anything's possible.
Bro, your man. What's your guy's name? You know who I'm talking about. That dude that's in that
Jason Dolly?
Schubert's Mans. What's that guy's name who plays in that teen show, the dude that you hate? And you're like, why does this guy keep playing teens? He's like 30-something years old. Ben Platt, I think is his name.
Oh. Well, you're talking about the Dear Evan Hansen guy? Then that's Ben Platt.
Yeah, Ben Platt. Oh man, that's funny. But all right, the next scene I got after that is just in the car in the conversation of to protect the sheep, you got to kill the wolves, and wolves kill wolves, and you get the whole "awoo" thing. Thought that was a solid scene. And then they try to buy crack from Snoop, and Denzel shoves the pin down his throat, and I was just like, wow. Jake was like, that's inadmissible in court. I'm like, no shit, Jake, they can't use that.
Yeah, that's why they didn't arrest him. They let him go.
They're trying to find the fake Sandman, aka find Snoop's stash house to rob him and get money. Because this whole time, what we don't realize is Denzel is accumulating money so he can pay back the fucking Russians.
Mm-hmm. And I think they get to that in, what is it, the next scene where they go to
No.
lunch?
It's after, because after Snoop Dogg, they go make the robbery at Macy Gray's house with the fake warrant. Then it's lunch.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, they go do.
Yeah, I thought Snoop did a great job for the short little cameo that he played
He did.
in here. I mean, all he had to do was say "fuck the police," which he'd probably said countless times before that.
He
didn't
had
say
to
a lot
do
more
that
than
too
that.
Kind
hard.
of a role that he was born to play.
Wait, would you say Schubert?
You didn't say a lot more than that.
Yeah, he definitely did, and he did a good job. Like I'm not hating on Snoop. I thought Snoop did a great job, but
I think he was. It was crazy how much upper arm strength he had to be knocking Jake around.
true.
Chase.
Just in that wheelchair, yeah, 100%. That's a fact. Snoop
I'm
was
like,
doing
come on,
this
dude.
Yeah, Ethan Hawke's got to hit the weight room.
thing.
After
Yeah,
that.
Ethan Hawke been needed
Strong
to hit the
safety.
weight room because, like, if that's a cop, they got to get stronger than
My
that.
ass.
But also after that, so they go rob Macy Gray, and then they get that cool fight where Denzel has the two guns and he's bow shooting the Crips, and the Crips are running across the street. Great shootout. That was one of the best shootouts in the movie.
Okay, there's absolutely no way that those guys get out of there. At least not without somebody taking a bullet. Are you kidding me? They showed like 15
And they
guys.
showed the bullet holes
Like,
where it looks like
and-
they shoot is directly in the driver, directly in the passenger. I don't know how it missed them.
Exactly. I mean, there's especially with Ethan Hawke not even firing a gun. Like, you're telling me that Denzel is able to fend off 15 dudes. Like a couple of them have shotguns and automatic weapons. Like, there's absolutely no shot that he doesn't take a single bullet. Yeah. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Big time, are we sure? Yeah.
But I liked it, though. I was fucking with it. I like that scene. That scene's awesome. But Ian's 100% right. Because when you look at the car, because they keep showing those bullet holes, it's like one in the driver, one directly in the middle, and then one in the passenger. It's like, damn, did they not get hit? Like, how are they still going?
Well, and like, they don't even blow out a tire at all on these guys' car. Like, how dumb are these?
Pretty
Crips?
Pretty dumb. Bad shots.
This is their first firefight that day?
Bad marksman skills. That's what they need to go to the range.
Might have been their training day too.
So the next thing I got after that is they go to Alonzo's house. Well, they go to Alonzo's house and you meet Eva Mendes. Yeah, man, you meet Denzel's kid, and Jake and him fall asleep. They start talking, but that's important because he builds a relationship with the kid, which will come back around later. But Eva Mendes smoking, killing it, doing her thing. I see you, Eva, for one of her first roles pre-Hitch. So keep doing your thing. The next thing I got. Well,
you also learn that Alonzo thinks that he runs that community, but the community. It does not care for him.
Yeah, that is important because the blood member, because that's the Damu Bloods. After that, they say, oh, yeah, we don't fuck with Alonzo. But Alonzo thinks he's big shit, but they don't fuck with him. True. That does come back around. Then we meet the Wiseman, man. A DA, a fucking head of the IA when you get shot, when a cop shoots somebody, and a detective. Fucking straight clowning. But where was the fourth one? Was Alonzo the fourth wise man? They only had three. That's what I was on. When he was like, we got to go meet the four wise men. I was like, where's the fourth?
You know, maybe it could have been the fourth wise man probably could have been, what's his name?
Who, Roger? Maybe. Could have been someone else in the police department that just wasn't there. But that's nuts that all that money he stole was for him to buy a warrant to go rob Roger. That's a crazy ass thought process for Denzel Washington throughout his day. He's like, yeah, let me go rob wheelchair Snoop, get the information, go rob Macy Gray, get $40,000 from Macy Gray, which Macy Gray had a right to be pissed and have all those Crips come after him for 40 G's. And then he goes and sends it to the Wiseman to get a fake warrant. That's nuts.
When he gives her the to-go menu as the warrant, I'd be pissed too. I just let these motherfuckers into my house for a fucking Chinese takeout menu.
She called.
And I will say, in reference to the Wiseman, Wikipedia at least, which, take that with a grain of salt, but Wikipedia does say he dubs them as the three wise men. Oh, the three,
okay.
Which would make sense biblically because there were three
I don't know
wise
why
men.
I thought they said four, but three, all right, word. That makes more sense. Do we wish we would have seen the L.A. Alonzo's time in Vegas? Because we keep hearing about it, and this is where we learn about the Russians, but we never see it.
I kept thinking to myself, I would have
liked to see something.
If anyone wanted to revisit Training Day as a mini series or
save that thought, because I had that's the end of conversation question that I'm gonna pose. But
John
do you
David
think we should have seen
Washington
wait? So you think you're saying the Vegas thing could have been the prequel? I have another prequel idea, but okay, I thought the Vegas could have been a flashback. Could have been in the beginning, 2 weeks ago, we see Alonzo there. Or do you think it works better, the fact that we meet Alonzo in the diner, and then we would see the flashback?
It works better that you don't. It works better that you don't know that he is a bad guy, because then you think that he's just
Well, then the flashback would have to be here at the three wise men. After they say it, you'd be like, he's sitting in the car driving, you flash back to it or something, or you just say keep it out.
Yeah, I mean it hinders the scene when they rob the guy Roger, because that's True. The big reveal. And when we get to talking about scenes, that's the one I'm gonna be talking about, because and we haven't even got there yet. But I mean, it ruins.
That's yours for real.
Reveal. That's the reveal.
True, that is, and because after that we meet up with right after the Wiseman, he links up with his crew, and then they go rob Roger for the $1 million so he can pay back the Russians. And then they set up the killing.
I would have liked to see something. like even if it was just vague,
saying.
like 10-second.
I'm with you, Ian. I wanted a little flashback before we go meet up.
You could sprinkle something in, like maybe when he's having the conversation with the wise men about like, oh, you fucked up with these Russians. I can't believe you messed this up so bad.
And then boom, flashback.
Like they could have, instead of that, like you fucked up, like they could be like, hey man, what's going on with these Russians? Like we're hearing shit that you got some heat on you. And then he tells them a little bit of the story, maybe not the whole thing, but they could introduce it.
Because I'd have loved to see that. Just like, what the fuck was he doing in Vegas? But we find out at Rogers that he kills a Russian person or whatever. We do find out that he kills someone high up that they didn't think he was supposed to kill. But man, poor Roger, poor Scott Glenn gets robbed, man. Then gets killed. His pension, bye-bye. His dude saved up what, $4 million?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, head in the floorboards of the
crazy.
kitchen.
And then that other dude gets shot. And he's like, "Oh, you pierced my vest." I'd have been pissed.
He's like, "What's the matter? One go through on you?"
I'd have been so pissed.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, like, dude, you shot him," and they're all laughing. It's like, call the ambulance.
Yeah, the guy's just sitting there bleeding on the floor.
Who was y'all's favorite?
Well, that's the thing. He's like, "No, we got to get our story straight first, because if we just call an ambulance and you guys fuck this up, then we're all going to jail."
Who was your favorite member of the crew? You cannot include Jake or Alonzo. Is it? Wait, I'm gonna tell you the people. Paul, which is Dr. Dre. Tim, which is Nick Chunlin. That's not the dude that got shot. That's the other white guy. Then there's the Latino guy who was getting transferred, Mark Jaime Gomez. And then there's the dude who got shot. I don't see his name, but he got shot. Y'all know who I'm talking about.
Peter Green.
Who's the favorite in the crew? I think it's the guy who got shot. That dude was on 10.
Peter Green, I believe. Is his name.
It is Peter
Detective
Green.
Jeff.
Okay. Yeah, that's my favorite. I didn't fuck with Dr. Dre.
Yeah. No, he was kind of it just wasn't believable.
I either fuck with him or Tim, Nick Chunlin. He kind of killed it too. He was like, "Of course I want my money."
Yeah, and he was also the dude who was cracking up when like the shot went into the dude. He was like,
"Yep." If you were Jake, would you have taken that money? Because see, this is an always shirt for me. Because like, if you're Jake, you just went to the meeting with the three wise men who okayed what you just did. One is a DA. I'm taking my money and I'm going to my house. Like, I just saw police corruption at its highest form. DAs, the best detective in the city. You just bought a warrant from a judge, signed it. Well, shit, if I go to jail, this judge got to go to jail too, so fuck it. Like,
yeah, if I go down, the whole system's going down with me.
So you should have took that fucking money, bro. Like,
he had like 2 or 3 opportunities
I'm gonna bounce
to take
out of
it
here
too.
with
like,
my $250,000.
Like even after everything happened, before they go to the
Smiley's.
Mexican gang, the Smiley's.
Yeah, Smiley.
Like he was like, "Here, you mean you can take this money."
Denzel was begging him to take it so he wouldn't have to kill him. Like, oh, he should have took it. And see, he could have stopped being a cop too. I'd have took that money and dipped. Like, I'm outie. Cool.
Yeah, dude. I just made a quick $200K in one day.
Yep. And like I'm saying, I have PTSD. I need to get away from the department for a little bit. Like, I'm chilling.
I'm going to get a Medal of Valor for killing this drug dealer. I'm out,
exactly, bro. And then you can go to another city.
Cut me my pension.
You can take your Medal of Valor. If you want to go be a cop in another city, a small town where what you value matters. Like, I'd have got out of there, but yeah, he didn't take the money twice, and they were like, "You have to say you shot him," and that's where Denzel was like, "Yeah, you took PCP. We got it. If they drug test you, I set up all this shit, so yeah, so you can do what I want." But there's some great speeches in there saying Jake has the magic eye and whatnot, all that shit. But then yeah, also, I wrote, this thing is chess, not checkers, when he was telling about how Roger sold to kids. I thought that was a great speech. But I also wanted to ask, do y'all think that was him saying that just to make Jake's conscience feel better? Or do you think that was actually what Roger was doing?
I think it was to make his conscience feel better. I just think
Roger was a cop. I don't think he was
like
that he was drug dealing to kids. He might have been a pedo, but like I don't think he was selling drugs.
That's unconfirmed. That's a Lyndon theory right there,
bro. If you go ask anybody who likes high school football if they know the starting strong safety for a random team, 7 years ago. I bet you they don't, unless the guy was like all American.
That dude never talked about having a
See,
wife.
I know.
He did.
Oh, that's
You
true.
might have been a pedo.
Well, I mean, if you're like a former cop, it's
And he was trying to go to the Philippines.
It's not a stretch of the imagination that you might end up without a wife.
I'm just saying.
No, man, he's just putting two and two together.
Roger was a bad guy, but they got his ass out of here. He's gone dead.
Well, I think. Do you think that Alonzo believed when he was telling Jake, and like, because Jake had the shotgun to his face, and Alonzo's like, "Nah, don't kill him, don't kill him. He's got the magic eye." Do you think he was just blowing smoke up Jake's ass again there? Because I thought he really believed
that time.
it.
I think he really believed it. The second time, I'm not sure. That time, I think he was trying to say, like, bro, you can like be a leader. You can have this money. Like, just take the opportunity. I think he 100% believed it right then when he had the shotgun in his face. But later, I'm with Schubert. I think he was just trying to plead with him to just take this money any kind of way possible. And then when Jake was like,
agree.
was like, nah, bro, I'm good. He was like, all right, bet, big bet. We're going to see Smiley. So they go to Smiley, and Alonzo pays the Latino gangs to kill Jake. Oh, Jake's so stupid. Why would you just Alonzo? I don't even know what Alonzo told him. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be gone for 2 seconons," and then after
he said
that,
he was going to the bathroom.
He said he had to go hit the head.
Yeah.
he said, "Okay, so he said he was gonna take a piss." They were like, "Nah, he had to shit." And I'm like, "You don't take." I'd have been like, "What bathroom he in?" I started looking around. I might not. When he said I'm going shit, I might have said, all right, cool. I'm walking to the car. Like, I'm not staying in here with these guys. Like, I understand I'm a cop, but like, it's a bad situation for me.
Fuck that. I'm going in the bathroom with you. I'm gonna stand there and watch you take that shit.
Because
I'm not standing out here with these guys.
It's sketchy, bro. Like, it's too sketchy, but he plays cards with him. They ask him for his gun. Dumb move, giving him your gun. They take his gun and then, they whoop his ass. Dude get paid.
I mean, but if you're in the middle of the Latino ghetto in somebody's house already, there's 3 of these guys. Are you really going to sit there and not give them your gun if they ask for your gun?
True, you probably would have to.
And the other guy's got a gun on him too. I mean, you kind of if you're looking to avoid conflict, you kind of got to give him the gun at that point. Like, there's really no other alternative.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. He kind of had to because
it's either that
or get shot.
It's either that or you pull a Frank Reynolds and you say, "So I started blasting."
Frank would have got out of that situation for sure.
He'd have been running and gunning.
Oh man, poor Jake. Gets it. Oh,
the only thing I can think about in like when he's talking to the gang at the table is you got that dude Noel Guglielmi, I think is the actor's name, but he's the thing I most know him for is Bruce Almighty, where he has a monkey like crawl up his butt. So like every time I see that dude, I just imagine him like in Bruce Almighty having a monkey.
And I'm pretty sure the other guy was from Breaking Bad. So I'm pretty sure that guy was from Breaking Bad. The guy that that
Sniper?
Walter blew up the first time.
Smiley?
Yeah, Sniper. I think Sniper was in Breaking Bad.
Yes, Sniper. I know from the show The Closer. That's the only thing I know him from.
Okay, yeah, Sniper. I know from Breaking Bad. The other guy I think was in Next Friday. I might know.
I think
him
he was in
Trainspotting. Maybe. Smiley. I've never seen Smiley before though, so Smiley needs to get some work.
Smiley is what I'm saying. I think he was from Trainspotting.
Okay.
Or something.
But yeah, Jake. Then they're like, I'm pretty sure 2 of those dudes wanted to rape his ass. They were like, "Did you ever get your shit pushed in?" And he was like, "No."
Yeah.
And Smiley was like, "I love getting fucked by the homies." And I was like, "Whoa!" They're going rape Jake's asshole.
He made this crazy face.
Lyndon, you know who Smiley was?
Who?
He was Fire Lord Ozai in the shitty Avatar movie.
Crazy Smiley. Look at you,
Damn.
bro. Went from Latino gang to Fire Lord Ozai. I know you wish that would have worked, but they were about to go rape Jake. Like, that's crazy. Jake was about to get fucked.
Yeah, the one guy's like, "Oh, I got my shit pushed in."
I love to get fucked by the homies. That's Smiley. I was like, what? I'm not getting fucked by no homies, bro. Sorry.
I remember, and then like when he's like, about to get killed or whatever, and they call the girl. I remember the first time I watched it, and that girl's just lying to him. I'm like, no, dude, this girl is just gonna straight up lie about this shit.
Yeah, he's gonna die because this 14-year-old girl is not going to tell the truth about almost getting raped. Like, that's how this movie is going to end.
No, she tells the truth. Smiley's like, we're going to have to talk about this later. What are you going to talk to her about later? I bet he's going to try to find the crackheads. I bet in the sequel we could see Smiley shooting the crackheads while driving down the street.
She said she was going to tell.
She did. She said you didn't want to fuck with her cousins up on Hillside. Do we think that when she said that Alonzo got the idea, or do you think that was later?
Nah, I think he has already known them people.
I think that was, it was just coincidence. But that's when Jake finds out that the Russians paid him and he was on the blue book and his name was still on the hit list. So, but he paid him off and Jake got to leave because the cousin told him and Jake saved that girl from getting raped. So it worked full circle. The next
and then
scene
he walked his ass to that neighborhood.
He walked
so that's
out.
An are we sure for me with the timeline.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, how far did he walk?
He had to walk pretty far, seemed like.
I think he had to walk pretty far.
And then he took a bus. He took a bus to Alonzo's.
Oh, that's true.
Now, I'd say by the time he gets to Alonzo's, it's like 2. No, it can't be midnight because the Russians are killing at midnight.
Like 10.
It's got to be like 10. Yeah, 10:45, 10:30. Yeah, 100%. That's a big Are We Sure Shooter. That's a good one. That's a really good one. The timeline doesn't necessarily work if you think of that. So, good one.
I suppose it just depends on how far the neighborhoods are from each
and
other.
when he left, because
and how fast that bus was going.
If this girl is 14 years old, I assume she is going to sleep around 9:30. So she was still awake. So it could have been like 8:45.
Just finished dinner.
You think 14? You weren't going to bed at 8:45 when you were 14.
I was going to bed before 10. That's for sure.
What?
On a school night? Yeah.
Damn,
I wasn't either. Well, I was watching Adult Swim. I would go to sleep at like midnight.
Yeah, I was in my room watching YouTube videos.
I was in my
or whatever the case may
TV
be.
in my room when I was in high school.
I didn't
that was a
either.
personal choice.
I had an iPod Touch though. That was the key to the outside world.
Tripping. That TV in the room was fire. But I digress. But yeah, she got saved, and Ethan Hawke makes it to Alonzo's hood. And then the shootout at Alonzo's happens. The kid chooses basically Jake over Alonzo. I know that hurt his self-esteem at that point. I would have been like, damn, he talking in Spanish to his hijo, and his hijo goes to Jake. I was like, no, why? I was like, are we sure? Because like if I was a kid, I don't know if I'm going to no random white guy I just met. It's like some black kid who probably doesn't see a lot of white people.
Well, it just depends on his relationship, truly, because I mean, like...
Well, him and Alonzo might not have had a good relationship in the movie.
Yeah, true.
If you notice, when him and Jake are leaving the house the first time after Jake had fallen asleep on the couch with the little kid, he seemed terrified of Alonzo. Either that or Alonzo just wasn't around often enough to have a good relationship with him. Because, I mean, right before they go in the house, he's talking to some other girl, and he says a fantastic line, which is, "Damn, girl, all that jelly and no toast."
He did.
And Jake is like, "Who is that?" And he was like, "Oh, just a little, company or whatever he says."
I'm not even convinced that Eva Mendes is his wife.
I don't think so. I think it's one of his side chicks.
Because he's got four kids.
Yeah, and that's just one.
There's only one kid there. So it doesn't seem like he spends a whole lot of time there other than...
No, I think that's his kid.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, I think it's his kid, but I don't think it's one of, like, you know how in the end there's like he's survived by his wife and 4 kids?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's counted in the 4 kids.
Oh, you think that's a side kid? I could believe it. Eva Mendes is probably not his wife. I could believe that side chick. That makes Alonzo even more of a dirty dog. I'm down to believe that for sure. So
that would make sense.
And then after the shootout, we get to my favorite scene, and I gotta pull up the thing. I should have had this earlier because I'm gonna read it's absolutely incredible. But what y'all think of the closing while I get this of the gang and everything?
It's tense. You know,
It's
I
amazing.
kind of didn't know what was going to happen. I really thought the gang was going to shoot him. I thought the gang was going to go ahead and shoot him. Yeah.
Nah,
Not
the gang
Ethan Hawke.
wasn't
I'm talking
gonna
about
shoot
Denzel.
him. Oh, then yeah, no, they wasn't gonna shoot him. No way. But okay.
Yeah, so I guess
I got it whenever. Oh, Ian, go ahead.
Well, I guess for the folks at home, you know, they have the shootout in the apartment. Denzel's got the shotgun hidden under the bed, even after Jake makes him give up all the guns and put him in the pillowcase. And Denzel sneaks out the window while Jake is looking after the little kid in the living room, you know, trying to make sure he's safe from the gunshots. And then they both go up on the roof. Jake is looking for him up in the pigeon coop. Which is something we kind of glossed over. I thought the most hilarious part of this whole movie was when you see Terry Crews from behind just flipping the pigeons to let people know that the cops were in the neighborhood.
Should have been Mike Tyson.
So Jake and Alonzo are up on the roof. They're running up on the roof. Alonzo beats the shit out. I mean, Jake gets some shots in, but Alonzo ultimately comes away from the fight.
Jake wins at the bottom.
And yeah, so then Jake jumps down off of the roof onto Denzel's car as he's trying to pull away.
Are we sure he would have survived?
Denzel ends up throwing him off. I mean,
Jake should have some broken legs.
A two-story drop onto the windshield. I don't know. It's questionable.
And then when the car hits the other car,
like a bitch,
when he sends, like, I think he would have flew into that other car. I don't think he was just jumping into.
Well, he did eventually.
Yeah.
Because he backs up and Jake almost goes through the windshield, and then when he goes forward again, Jake lifts up his legs so they don't get crushed, and he flies off onto the other car, and Denzel like hits his face against the windshield and kind of half knocks himself out.
That's when Jake gets off.
And Jake gets up and starts punching him through the driver's side window, pulls him out of the car. And so that's how you end up in the street with all the neighborhood people coming out. One of the guys takes a gun out and puts it down on the street and says, no, we're not shooting Jake. You got to earn it.
You got to put this work in, Lonzo.
He's like, oh, it's like that, huh? He's like, yeah, it's like that.
We don't fuck with Lonzo. That was the same guy. And then fucking Lonzo's asking Jake, I don't see it in you. You don't got it. You're not going to shoot me. Dude gets shoot, and this guy gets shot in his ass. He's like, oh, and then here it comes. It's, oh, you motherfuckers. Okay, all right. I'm putting cases on all you bitches. You think you can do this shit to me? Jake, you think you can do this to me? You motherfuckers will be playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I get finished with you. Shoe program, nigga, 23-hour lockdown. I'm the man in this piece. You never see the light of who the fuck do you think you fucking with? I'm the police. I run shit around here. You just live here. Yeah, that's right. You better walk away. Go on and walk away, because I'm going to burn this motherfucker down. King Kong ain't got shit on me. Great, beautiful speech. Better. I think that's one of the best speeches in movie history. It's incredible. And you want to know something crazy? He improvised that whole thing.
No,
yeah, one
really?
take. That's what Antoine Fuqua
I believe it was
said.
one take.
One take improvisation. Antoine Fuqua didn't write that down. Antoine Fuqua only wrote down the.
David Ayer.
Oh yeah, well yeah, David Ayer. David Ayer only wrote down the beginning portions. I'm putting cases on all you bitches. You think you can do this to me? You motherfuckers will be playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I'm finished with you. And that was it. And like he improvised the rest. They say that's what they say.
That's dope. I mean, that just goes to what you were kind of speaking to at the beginning of at the beginning of this video when you were saying, you know, this is a B tier movie at best, but with Denzel, he kind of takes it and elevates the whole thing. And if that's true, then yeah, that's a perfect example of that.
You know, you can say that because you just have to look at the two guys who worked on this movie and look at their other movies, because they're very similar. You know, especially Ayer. Like think about David Ayer's most recent movie, The Tax Collector. You know, kind of similar stuff going on. Similar. But it's definitely a B movie that isn't elevated by its acting performances.
End of Watch is a B movie elevated by Jake Gyllenhaal and Pena.
Yeah.
So I mean, like when you look at his David Ayer style, like it's very similar, and it's like takes these actors to elevate it. But Great scene, and then the movie basically ends with, I didn't write down the rest because after King Kong ain't got shit on me, the movie's over in my opinion. But Alonzo dies at the hands of the Russians. They kill him. He's done skis, and then like Ian said, his name is in the paper the next day of Alonzo preceded by.
Well, it's So I forgot to mention this when they're in the house with Roger the second time and they shoot him. But Alonzo says to Jake, you know, let me tell you how this is going to go, basically, and says that exact quote of, you know, an LAPD officer was shot down today. He survived by his wife and child. And then at the end of the movie, as Jake is getting out of his car and going back into his house, they have the audio dub of like a news broadcaster saying an LAPD officer was shot down today. He survived by his wife and 4 kids, you know, in reference to Alonzo being killed. So I thought that was beautiful writing to tie it all in at the end. And that's the last thing you see in the movie.
And they did it in different languages too.
Yep.
What's that?
They did it in different languages too.
Yeah, they did. And that kind of, you know, ties in the whole, you know, I think the theme of this movie, I guess, since we're done with the movie scenes, I think the theme is like power and the role that it plays in professional relationships. Definitely. I think the whole power dynamic between Alonzo and Jake is the point of this movie, to kind of show that, you know, if you're put in a bad situation as an underling, you can be led to do some really bad stuff simply because you want to please your boss and you want to advance your career, and you want to, you know, provide your family with financial stability. But Jake eventually realizes that, okay, you know, this job may not be everything that I thought it would be for me and my family. So at the end of the day, I got to do what will make me happy as a human being. And, you know, I got to act in a way that I can live with at the end of the day. And ultimately he's rewarded for that by being the one who survives.
I'm going to ask this question. Does Jake go to work the next day?
That's a good question. Oh.
Does he go to work in the narcotics unit? I don't know about that. Does he report to the police department the next day and go back as a cop?
Taking some PTO.
See, I think he's got to go into the office and whoever the CEO is says, Lucy, you got some splaining to do. Because I don't think he's getting off scot-free. I think he's going to have to present a pretty good case as to why he was high on PCP.
Or what I truly think happens is the wise men talk to him and tell him, hey, the bus, we're going to give you props for the bus. We're going to say Alonzo got shot by these people, but everything else that happened to you is getting swept under the rug. Like, I think that, like, it's either, I think they sweep everything under the rug. They give him the medal. They say Alonzo was killed just by some random gang, and like, he gets his medal and hero, and they just push everything. They're like, you didn't take the money. You're not dirty. We're going to give you whatever you want. He'll probably be detective wherever he wants. And that's the end of that. And he just puts that in the back of his mind. Oh, he definitely transfers. He goes to where he wants, I believe.
Well, I think they facilitate that, though. I feel like they'll give him a medal or whatever and then facilitate his transfer.
Because he knows too much about the wise men for them not to let him go where he wants.
And even if he doesn't, they're probably still suspicious of what he might know. So they're definitely going to approach him afterwards. But does the press at the end, does the reporter say why he was shot? Like he was gunned down by gangs, or just
said there was like
he was killed by gunfire?
They said it was a bad bust. Like,
I don't know what they said.
Okay, because so as I'm sure you guys know, being members of the news media yourself, the reporters only know what the police tell them.
So they could have killed. They could have killed Alonzo on the bus for the bus with Roger, where Jake's a hero. That's probably where they say he died at.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, they might just, because the police have to know what's going on at that point. Like, one of your top narcotics officers, at least according to Alonzo throughout the movie,
killed the Russian,
turns up dead. Like, they have to have some kind of story for that to tell the media. So, I mean, at a certain point, the police are kind of implicit in the whole thing.
So I definitely think they
Alonzo even references a few times throughout the movie, like, I got this guy in this department who will help us out, or I got this guy in this department who will make sure your blood test never gets to the lab or something like that.
He was talking about the wise men. He pointed them each out and said what they each did. And it's like, so Jake knows this. So like, they can't just let him go scot-free. So that's what I wanted to ask. But what's the best scene in y'all's opinion? What's your best scene if you got one?
Who?
Either of y'all. Schubert, you can go first.
Schubert,
you have
you
yours
go first
ready.
if you want.
Yeah, I was the stuff with Rod the second time they go to see Roger and all of that. Pretty much
the robbery.
Pretty much the robbery, but more so after they get to once they open up the money and you start kind of unraveling what everything is, and like, him faking shooting and then Denzel actually shooting, and then everything that kind of falls in after that. As much as we were saying how great the line was at that point, to Ian's point, the line where he's kind of saying like, this is what's going to happen. And like, I've facilitated all of this is like, pretty big part of the movie too, where, you really kind of be like, oh man, Denzel, you're
an asshole.
You're a scumbag, man. Like,
he's a villain. That's a good scene.
Shit up. You set this up in motion. Like, you had this plan. Like, but I think the one thing that he didn't bank on was that Ethan Hawke would be as much a choir boy as he was.
That's what he was hoping. He was hoping he was a scumbag. That's what he was hoping. He was hoping he was someone that needed money and that was a scumbag, but it just didn't work out that way. My best scene is the final, the leading up to the King Kong speech and the King Kong speech, the putting of the gun, like starting when the gang member puts the gun on the ground and he walks and he's asking him all those questions. He's like, you're not going to shoot me. I don't see it in you. And he shoots him in the ass. That's, to me, the best scene. Ian, what you got?
I agree. The climax at the end with all the gang members surrounding Alonzo, I think that's the best scene in my opinion.
I was not to cut you off. I thought you were finished. So yeah, go ahead, finish up, bro.
Well, I was going to say I want to pose this question to you guys. I was watching The West Wing, as I have been doing for months now, the other day after finishing this movie. And it was an episode where a couple of the cabinet members take a trip to the Middle East, and they're talking about the relations between Israel and Palestine and like the fight over the Gaza Strip, who owns that territory. And one of the soldiers in the Israeli army tells this story about how they, got attacked by terrorists and then took it out on some local villagers. And he was saying, it's not the people in these situations who are bad, it's the situations themselves. So you can't really blame the people for their actions in the heat of the moment. So my question is, how much of Alonzo is he to blame for, and how much of it is his circumstance? And I guess I'll qualify it by saying he is a narcotics officer. He obviously had a mentor in Roger who was kind of a scumbag himself, so he was brought up to think that way when he got into narcotics. He still lives in the same neighborhood as the Damu Bloods.
Oh, we think.
Or we think he does. At least he spends a lot of time there. He still really ingratiates himself with the community and thinks, at least in his own mind, that he's an active member of the community. How much of Alonzo's, negative characteristics can be attributed to his situation? I mean, just like Jake, he probably wants to move up and move on in his life at a certain point too. Is he just some scumbag asshole cop, or is he kind of a victim of circumstance as well?
I think it's 50-50. I think he was a victim of the circumstance because Roger put him in that situation, but it was up to him to make the choice of, do I continue down this path or do I try to change it? Because when he tells Jake, you got to change it from the inside. Well, bro, you've been there for forever, but you got stuck in the same spot and you never tried to change it. So you fell in love with the situations instead of trying to fix the situation. So I'd say it's 50-50.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I feel like
fair enough.
I feel like he found himself really content in his place in the LA society as being that narcotics officer that has his pocket with the gangs and with the LAPD, and kind of
he can go and get money whenever he wants. Like, he does not there's no one telling him no. Like, when he tells, and this is why I think when he told Jake that story at the end when he's trying to get him to get the money in the car before they go to Smiley, that's why I think it's fake, because it's like I feel like that's him saying what he wanted to do, what he should have done, and that's telling Jake, you can do this, take this money and go do what I should have done. But he didn't do that. Like he fell in love with it and just grew too complacent. And again, I also don't think we know the real Alonzo per se, because they also say when Smiley is talking about him, because I think that's one of the first times Jake really sees, I don't really know who this is, when Smiley tells him about what happened in Las Vegas. That's why I think Vegas is crucial, but I don't know if it hurts the mystery of Alonzo or if it helps paint him more as a villain, because what Smiley describes happens in Vegas. Smiley says dude's a monster. Like, dude is just the worst. So I don't know if we, the audience, got to see the true Alonzo on screen.
That's fair.
Oh, and I agree with you guys. It's definitely on him, all of the things that happen with the Russians, at least, like you say, from the way Smiley describes it. I mean, he basically says Alonzo just killed this guy for no other reason than the fact that he wanted to.
Because he's a cop and
it just so happens that. Yeah, and it just so happens that this guy was connected, and now Alonzo's in a tough spot. So I agree with you. I just wanted to see what you guys thought about that.
Hell yeah. All right, well, let's get to winner of the movie. Who do you think won the movie? And of course, if we're going real life, it's Denzel, no question. Dude won an Oscar. But if we're going Ian's in movies, who y'all think won the movie?
Probably Jake.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jake won this movie.
Wait. I have a question. Do those other cops, I think if the other cops got to keep the money and didn't go to jail, they won.
That's a win.
They won.
Yeah, definitely.
Like Dre.
Not the dude who got shot, though.
No, yeah, the dude who got shot
So
took
Tim,
a fat L.
So Tim might be the winner.
No, Tim didn't get shot. It's Peter Green. We don't know his name.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Jeff.
Tim is the winner then, because he didn't get shot, and he's not Dr. Dre's over-the-top weird character.
True. Tim might be my winner if we're not going with Jake, because I don't know if Jake won. Jake got a lot of trauma from this.
That's true,
fair.
But he did stick to his guns, and he came out on the other side of it.
I know the winner, and I'm not going to even choose the cops, because the cops might go to jail. These people don't have no shot of going to jail. Smiley number one, because they won $250,000, didn't kill a cop, let the cop go, and the cops are not coming back to fuck with them. They got a free big check and about to throw a bunch of parties. Smiley won the movie, if we're going with in character.
I'm
the
cool
whole
with that.
hood's eating tonight.
The whole hood was eating that night. Bro, he how much he got paid? $250,000? Or what do you got paid? $500,000?
I thought it was just 50.
Oh, 50? I thought it was 250.
Yeah, I think it was just 50.
Even if it's just 50, that's solid for Smiley. Hey, that's a win.
Yeah, I'm not turning down 50.
And then he didn't even kill Jake, and now Jake has his back.
Exactly. Yeah. Now you got a friend in high places. If you're either of those guys.
Smiley won. I'm with Smiley. So either him or the cops. All right. What's your final answer, Ian? Who you got winning?
I'm saying Jake, just simply for the fact that he stuck to his convictions, even when all the odds were against him and all the temptation was right there in front of him with I think it was like 200,000 that would have been his cut. And hopefully you would like to see him come out on the other side better for it. I mean, like I say, I think he's got a lot of explaining to do as to how that went down to whoever his commanding officer now is, that Alonzo's dead, but hopefully he'll get a nice promotion out of it. Maybe go work one of those desk jobs that Alonzo was criticizing the whole time.
Probably so.
Writing parking tickets in the valley. Yeah, I since you're gonna ride with Smiley and you're gonna ride with Jake, I'll go with Tim. He got his cut. He didn't get shot.
Tim got 250, baby. Tim got 250. Didn't get shot, and more than likely is not going to jail.
Yeah, all you had to do was show up.
And wasn't he the one that was also supposed to get? He's like transferring to become a detective.
No, that's Jorge. Jorge,
okay.
He could be your winner because he's transferring out of there.
That's true, and he gets his cut.
And he gets his cut, yeah.
And he didn't get shot, so yeah, okay. So Jorge then.
It's Mark.
Oh,
by
it's
the
Mark.
way.
I thought his name was Jorge. Is his name Jorge in real
No,
life?
his name in real life, his real name is Jaime
I
Gomez.
thought it was Jorge. Okay.
But in the movie, it's Detective Mark.
well, Mark won.
Detective Mark.
I don't know where I got.
I don't want to
Jorge
let Lyndon's
from.
racism go unchecked there.
No, don't do that, Ian. I thought I saw Jorge somewhere.
I didn't remember
My
any
bad.
of these names.
Okay, so who y'all got losing the movie? It's obviously Alonzo.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the whole time he's just thinking he's above the law. I mean, you see him stop the car in the middle of the intersection.
I'll accept Roger
towards the beginning
too.
of the movie.
Roger took a fat L.
Yeah, I got a different one.
All the man wanted to do was retire to the Philippines, and he just gets a shotgun to the chest, and his entire life savings is stolen.
Pedo, get him out of here. I'm glad he lost.
I got one. I got
you
two
got?
on kind of. Eva Mendes and Alonzo Zito.
Yeah, they lost. Now they're not getting no money.
Now they ain't getting no money. They got no protection in that neighborhood.
No, he's just
And
living.
her nipples are super pointy too, so that's a downside.
Oh, that sucks. Poor Lonzito.
That's what I'm saying. Like Eva Mendes and that little kid lost.
Hey, Macy Gray lost. They robbed 40,000 out of her house. Them Crips lost.
Yeah, Macy Gray lost too.
They got to do some target practice, man. I still don't believe that shit.
All right, yeah, I'm going with. I like Schubert's Alonzito and Eva Mendes. That's a good one, Schubert. That's a great one. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Alonzo. Dude died. He's out of here. Ian, are you going with anybody else? Or you going with Alonzo?
I'd say Alonzo.
All right. I'm gonna switch then. Ian, you can have Alonzo. I'll say Roger because Roger took a fat L. All right, Roger got out of here. Get that pedo out of here. He lost. Fucker.
Oh my God.
Schubert got Alonzito and Eva Mendes. I like that one. That's a good one. Schubert might have the best.
Look at how easy it is for Lyndon to slander the dead man.
Get him out of here. Fucking like, jeez, pedo. Sixth man of the movie. Who y'all got? Is this controversial? I don't know if I know the sixth man of this movie.
I don't know, man.
I'm trying to. What was the 14-year-old girl's name?
She's the sixth man? I'm thinking of giving it to Smiley.
Think about it. It could be Smiley too, but I mean, Smiley was also your winner. But no, think about it.
I think the girl's name was Letty.
Yeah, her name was Letty.
Letty. If she doesn't cut class, almost get raped, get saved by Ethan Hawke, and then eventually tell Smiley the truth, Ethan Hawke's dead.
That's a good point. Letty might be the sixth man of the movie. I'm trying to think of any others. Like, I'm not using anyone in the crew. Roger has to be a starter because he was in so much of the movie.
Absolutely.
The Wise.
So who's the starting five then?
The starting five is Jake and Alonzo getting 40 and 50 points apiece. And then Roger coming in with a solid 8.
Yeah, he's a classic JJ Redick bench character.
Who is the other? Like, who are the other?
I guess you would have to say then like Smiley would be a starter, and then
Smiley.
the other,
don't make Smiley a starter.
And
it's got to be like the Wise.
And then the blood guy or whatever.
No, the Damu Blood dude is a starter for sure. We see him twice. He is a starter. I'm not saying Smiley a starter.
Is Eva Mendes a starter?
Ooh, Eva Mendes might be a starter.
Sure.
Eva Mendes and Alonzito.
I'll take it.
So how many starters are we putting on? What game are we playing?
All right, 5.
Now?
We got 5. We got Roger, Jake, Alonzo, the Damu main blood, the guy who's like, I don't fuck with Alonzo, and then put the gun on the ground and said, you gotta do your own work, homie. And then Eva Mendes / Alonzito. That's the starting 5.
They go one on each other to make like a super tall person.
Eva puts him on his shoulders. It's fact. Super player.
What? Form one mega person?
Yeah, big facts. Now that means 6 men could be Letty. 6 men could be Smiley. The Wise Men. Whoever you think is the perfect 6 man. I'm going with Smiley.
Yeah, I'd have to say Smiley at that point. And I suppose now I have to advocate for Kicking and Screaming as our next movie review because Schubert just made the reference.
Yeah.
So Schubert, you're going with Letty?
I know you're the one that wrote Dicka sucks on my driveway.
It's a good one.
We'll get there.
So Schubert, you're going with Letty as 6 man?
Yeah.
All right, nice. All right, well, yeah, that's pretty much all our categories. The final thing I want to ask, it's been rumored Michael B. Jordan prequel, Training Day of Alonzo when he was a good guy, and we see Alonzo becoming the bad guy. Is that something we would want to see? I don't know. I think anybody who touches this, because they're dying to make a prequel. Whoever it is, they better be sequel. They better be confident in what they're doing. Yeah, that shit was trash.
It was.
Like, if Michael B. Jordan or Jonathan Majors is trying to do this, I don't know if I'm about it.
John David Washington?
It would have to be, like, I mean, what story do you tell?
They would tell Alonzo's first, like, day on the, like, they would do his training day. His training day, essentially. That's what the report is, of him learning from Roger about, like, the ins and outs of what it takes to be a detective.
I mean, I'd watch that.
It depends who you get as Roger, too, though, because that's just as important.
It depends on how you try and market it, too. Is it going to be, like, a streaming movie, or is it going to be, like, a theater movie?
Or is it going to be a TV show? If it's a streaming TV show, I'd be more inclined. If it's like HBO was like,
but you can't get Michael Jordan. You can't get Michael B. Jordan or Jonathan Majors to commit to that.
For HBO? What's wrong with you?
We're too big now.
If they bring in Matthew McConaughey as Roger, I'm in.
Ooh, Matthew McConaughey as Roger. That's a good one, Ian. I would watch a Jonathan Majors, Matthew McConaughey, or even David Washington.
If you do that team up, then I think you could put it in the theater.
Yeah, you could put that in theaters for sure.
You could put that in the theater.
I'd watch that. That's a good. Matthew McConaughey is a good choice as Roger. I don't know anybody else. Really, that's a good one. Woody Harrelson is Roger, maybe.
I don't know.
He might be a little bit too old now.
Yeah. And
they might have to use some of that.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, they might have to use some of that Irishman magic to make him look a little younger.
Colin Farrell, Roger.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I could see it.
Maybe.
He could get his American accent going.
All right. Well, let us know in the comments if you would want a Training Day prequel. Now it's time to get to the rating. I believe the Run It Back king for these types of movies is still The Godfather with like 9.6. I think it's like 9.6, 9.7. I'll start with you, Schubert. Let me pull the calculator up. What you giving us? 1 through 10.
9.
Nice. Ian, what are you giving it?
I was also going to say 9.
Nice. I'm going to go like 9.2. Divided by 3. Solid 9.06. I think 9 is a perfect score for this movie. I just said 9.2 just to be wild, but 9 was what I was originally thinking. We can round it up to 9.1. 9 is a perfect score for this movie. A solid 9.1. We'll round up. I think that's a great score for this movie. This is a great one. I'm not gonna lie. This is one of the better movies we've watched for Run It Back. So hell yeah. Next time, like I said, we're gonna do either comedy, horror, animated. We're gonna get away from the dad movies for a little bit. But don't worry, we're coming back strong because I got a list of them. We still gotta do No Country for Old Men. Like, we're clowning. That movie is amazing. So there's some movies we gotta do. Plus, whenever Schubert's ready, man, I've been waiting for Star Wars. Like, I'm ready for you to tell me the order we're gonna do it in. You got to tell me which order we're going to do it in. That's your job. It's not mine. I'm not a Star Wars fanatic. You got to tell me if we're going 1, 2, 3, or we're going 4, 5, 6.
Well, I mean,
we're going for?
I just don't know. Like, it just take way too long to do some kind of chronological order. I feel like you just got to.
We're not going to do it in order. We're just going to let's say next time we do Crazy Stupid Love. The time after that, we do A New Hope. We do another movie, and then we go back. Emperor Strikes Back.
We'll be sick of it by then.
No, we review Attack of the Clones and never review another Star Wars movie.
That's because it's the only one you need.
That is not the only one you need. What is wrong with you? This shit is trash. And then we got to get into The Dark Knight eventually. But, soon. We may just do Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, never even touch Dark Knight Returns. Never even touch it.
You don't like The Dark Knight Rises?
No, bro. It's Rises. Shit's trash. Because
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was bad.
Oh, if Ian pushes for that movie, then we could do it. Because Run It Back, we don't really do trash movies on Run It Back. We're here to celebrate the good movies.
Yeah, I'm not wasting my pick with that one necessarily. I'm just saying I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was a good conclusion of the series. I like the whole down in the pit.
The shit of him blowing up in the thing and then seeing Alfred in France. I was like, what the fuck? And then fucking John David, whatever the name is. Oh no, your name is Robin. What? I don't know. No Robin named Robin. That was just some Christopher Nolan bull jive. Like, that movie was not good.
All right, well, I guess to the Batman purists, it wasn't very good, but for me, the casual fan who was not really a gigantic Batman lore guy up until that point, I enjoyed it.
If you want to talk, like, if you're talking the best one in that trilogy for the purist, it Begins.
It Begins. It's 100% Begins. But we're gonna do Begins and Dark Knight, and we gotta do some Marvel stuff soon.
Yeah.
Oh God, are we gonna open that 28 movie Pandora's box?
It's gotta happen soon.
Or we can just.
We're only gonna choose. But I'll say this. We're only gonna choose the best ones because I'm not doing all of them. Like, Schubert will definitely do Logan. But like with Marvel, we'll do like Iron Man 1, Thor Ragnarok, and then like Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
If you throw an X-Men movie in there, I'm leaving Run It Back.
Schubert said Ant-Man. Schubert, are you pushing for Ant-Man? I see
I'm
you.
always pushing for
the
Ant-Man.
X-Men movie we would do. Don't you do that. We'd either do Days of Future Past or Logan. Those movies are great.
Yeah, only those two.
Oh, see, Logan I could handle, but most, if not all, of the actual X-Men movies.
Don't do that. Days of Future Past is a solid movie.
See, I didn't never watch it because the other X-Men movies that
First
I watched, I
Class
was
is
like,
a
why am
pretty
I
good movie,
wasting
too.
my time with this?
Did you watch First Class?
Get out of here.
The newer X-Men.
You're telling me Dark
movies.
Knight Rises is bad, and then you're advocating for X-Men movies?
X-Men First Class. I'm advocating for 3 X-Men movies, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all don't have to pull my card. It's X-Men First Class.
Excuse me while I find a wastebasket to vomit into.
X-Men, Days of Future Past, and Logan. The 2 Fassbender and McAvoy movies. The first 2 McAvoy and Fassbender movies, and then the 1 good Jackman movie. That's the only ones I'm pulling for. All the others
technically
are
Deadpool's
trash.
an X-Men movie too.
I'm not. I don't. Y'all are gonna have to convince me to review that because you know how I feel about that movie. I don't fuck with that movie. Do not fuck with it.
Oh my God.
We'll do it.
Lyndon,
We'll do it. Schubert likes it. We'll do it. Schubert likes it.
Exactly.
We'll fucking do Deadpool, but like, ooh, you just said comedy.
We got to work in Talladega Nights at some
Should
point
we do
too.
Dude, Where's My Car next? That's a great.
Oh,
movie.
that's a very
I'd be
good
down
one.
for that.
That's
But yeah, like,
Or,
I think we'd have to choose between Kicking and Screaming and Talladega Nights. Because we've already done stuff.
Don't do that.
We've already done a Pharaoh. We're not gonna do a Pharaoh for the next one. We got to put the poll in. Y'all are each gonna have to give suggestions for the poll. I'm thinking like,
damn, I'm such a Pharaoh guy.
Dodgeball.
We need an Adam Sandler movie.
I'm thinking the poll will be Dodgeball. Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
As much as I hate Adam Sandler, we need to have an
Forgetting
Adam
Sarah
Sandler
Marshall
to
would
balance
be
out
pretty
the Will
solid.
Ferrell
Even
thing.
my girlfriend
Forgetting
the
Sarah
other day was
Marshall's
like,
a good one, man.
even my girlfriend the other day was like, you guys should do Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I was like, oh, Lynn said it.
That's a great movie. We'll discuss. We'll discuss off air. Y'all let us know on Twitter what movie you'd want to see next. Because we're back, man. We got the setup going, so we're gonna try to review a movie like every other week, every 3 weeks, something like that. We're gonna try to keep it every other week, every 2 weeks, whatever. But Ian, tell the people they can follow you on social media.
You can find me on Twitter at IanBWT. You can find me on Instagram at IanHawley12. And in both of those places, you can find links to my SoundCloud page. I'm debating starting a separate Instagram account just for music. I'm not really, doing anything with that right now, but I have been recording a little bit here and there. So hopefully going to put out some new music soon.
Drop the tunes, bro. Drop the tunes. You and Doom just hold on to y'all's music. Drop the tunes.
I still listen to
it's just
some off that album.
It's just I want a complete project, I don't want to do the singles bit. I want like a cohesive, piece from start to finish where I can, add the, transitions between songs and all that kind of deal.
Gotcha. Well, whenever you drop it, let me know. Schubert, tell the people where they can follow you at on social media.
You can follow me at aschubert14 on Twitter and Instagram, AdamBWT on Letterboxd, and listen to the Bros Who Binge. I don't know when this is going to be out in comparison to what.
This is going to be out like Friday or Thursday. This will be out either Friday or Thursday, so they can come check out our show, but they might not hear it by then.
And within the 3 episodes that this is kind of around, we're reviewing Titans on HBO Max, we're reviewing Heels, Batman Long Halloween. So,
yeah. Y'all be sure to check that out. But you can follow me at LMBWT. Like I said, we're going to put out the poll for the next one. We're doing a comedy or a horror. Gotta see. But we're trying to switch it up. We're going to do animated at some point. But like I said, we're trying to give y'all a movie review every other week, every 2 weeks, something like that. Well, we're back, man. Y'all be on the lookout for that. And then until next time, peace.